Council for the group of specialized education program 6D060900, 8D05202 Geography, 6D060800, 8D05207 Ecology, 6D061000, 8D05203 Hydrology, 6D071100, 8D07301 Geodesy, 6D090200, 8D11101 Tourism, AD05204 Meteorology, AD01503 Geography, AD07302 Geoinformatics, at Alfa Romeo National University on the dissertation of Tursumbaeva M.O on the topic effect of meteorological parameters on air quality in large cities of Kazakhstan, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, in the specialty AD05204 Meteorology. The permanent competition of the dissertation council was approved by order number 306 of the chairman of the board rector of Alfa Romeo National University, date June 28, 2021, according to the regulation of the dissertation council of Alfa Romeo National University. 50% of the members of the dissertation council are permanent members. There remain 50% of the members of appointed temporarily for the duration of the doctoral candidate's defense, depending on the topic of the doctoral research. Thus, the permanent composition of dissertation council includes five members, and temporary members also 5. 10 members of the dissertation council are present at the meeting of the dissertation council. For permanent members of the dissertation council, Aktambaeva Aliya Segunbekna, chairman, candidate of geographic science, associate professor, dean of faculty of geography and environment science of Alfa Romeo National University. Good day, dear colleagues. Abdimanapov Basudulkhan Sharipov, deputy chairman, doctor of geographical science, professor at the Institute of National Science and Geography of Abay Kazakh National Pedagogical University. Musagalieva Aizhan Yazbekovna, scientific secretary, PhD, deputy, head of the Department of Geography, Land Management and Cadastre for scientific and innovative work and international relations of Alfa Romeo Kazakh National University. Good day. Sanikov Vitaly Grigorьевич, doctor of geographical science, professor of the Department of Meteorology and Hydrology at Alfa Romeo Kazakh National University.
Good day, everyone. I'm here.
Медведев Михаил Миколаевич, doctor of geographical sciences, professor, chairman of the board of Institute of Geography and Water Security. Ахмедкал Рахметуллаевич. Yeah. Ахмедкал Рахметуллаевич. Ахмедкал Рахметуллаевич.
Я слушаю вас.
Rahmet, temporary members of the dissertation council, Chao Hui Lin, PhD, Professor Director of the International Center for Climate and Environmental Science, Institute of Atmospheric Physics, Chinese Academy of Sciences, Beijing, China.
Yes, thank you.
Good day. Alexander Mahura, PhD, Senior Science of the Institute for Atmospheric and Earth System Research, Institute of Helsinki, Finland.
Hello, presented, University of Helsinki.
Thank you. Ali Samad, PhD, Professor of the State Key Laboratory of Desert and Oasis Ecology, Xinjiang Institute of Ecology and Geography, Chinese Academy of Science, Urumqi, China.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good day. Serpil Enisou, PhD, Professor of the Department of Chemistry, Bolu Abant İzzet Baysal University, Balu, Turkey.
Hi, everyone.
Duran Karakash, PhD, Professor of the Department of Chemistry, Bolu Abant İzzet Baysal University, Balu, Turkey. Duran Karakash. Duran Karakash. Duran Karakash, PhD, Professor of the Department of
Yes, I think there is a problem with electricity. Now he is writing to me, and we will try again to connect.
So we have to reach. Я поняла, но мы без него не можем начать. У нас 100% должно быть. So we have to wait. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, my apologies, but we don't. Will not start. Will don't start this dissertation or dissertation council because we must we all temporary members of the dissertation council must are here in committee. We were waiting. We are waiting to Ras Karakash.
Yes, he is trying again to connect.
Thank you. Действительно хаотично. И собственно, открытый металл. Я минус на десем, а я aslında kıyamalı var. Oturan ben. Çok kısa. Soğuk.
Ya seni bekliyorlar ama ne yapacağım? Sadece buradayım desin diyor. Ama farklı yerlerde. Tamam, buraya falan böyle bir şekilde rezil oluyoruz, adamlar bekliyor orada. Uzun sürmez, sağlanmak uzun sürdü, sen nasıl?
Айжан, здравствуйте еще раз. Можно потише, пожалуйста? Айжан, что случилось? Не слышно вас.
Здесь один временный член отключился. Ждем, когда он
У
подключится.
него свет,
Он изначально был. Да.
Хорошо, хорошо тогда.
свет отключил. Он же был здесь. Нет, он-то вначале там был красивый.
Я был.
А все он подключает.
Да. Сейчас подключается.
Он свой про его департамент, что правильно сказали, получили департамент правильно, как все сказать.
Hi everybody, I'm very sorry for the problem. I lost connection, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We continue our council meeting. Duran Karakash, PhD professor of the Department of Chemistry, Bolu Abandoned Baysal University, Bolu, Turkey.
I'm from Environmental Engineering Department. I am a chemist.
Okay. Okay. Official reviewers, Bruman Diperia, PhD Research Fellow, Nazarbayev University, Astana, Kazakhstan.
Hello, hi everyone.
Kamilova Anargul, candidate of Geography Sciences, Atrau, Kazakhstan.
Hi, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Dear members of the Dissertation Council, In accordance with the proceeding of this meeting, all preliminary examination have been completed. It is necessary to note that the quorum is present. More than 2/3 of members of the dissertation committee are present. The temporary members of the dissertation council and the official reviewers are also present. On the agenda of this meeting, in the defense of Madina Tursunbayeva's dissertation on the topic effect of meteorological parameters on air quality in large cities of Kazakhstan. In this specialty, AD-05204 meteorology. The work was carried out at the Department of Meteorology and Hydrology, Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. Scientific consult Kerimbai Ayhanım, Kerimray Ayımgül, PhD.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Baymaton Nasiba is the Associate Professor of the Department of Analytical Colloid Chemistry and Technology of Rare Elements, Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Almaty, Kazakhstan.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Didin Augustine Komadi, PhD, Associate Professor of the National Institute of Technology, Bandung, Indonesia. Didin Augustine. This is foreign consults have some technical problem. We continued. The dissertation work has been presented for defense for the first time. All members of the dissertation council have materials and have had enough time for familiarizing themselves with the content of the dissertation work. Do members of the dissertation community have questions regarding for the agenda? Comments? No question?
No.
Thank you. The floor is given to the scientific secretary Ayjan Yenbek Musagalieva to read out the documents available in the applicant's personal file.
Thank you. Good day, dear members of the Dissertation Council and all those present. Allow me to introduce information about the doctoral student and read out the list of documents available in doctoral student's personal file submitted to the Dissertation Council. Madina Tursunbaeva enrolled in hydrometeorology undergraduate program in the Faculty of Geography and Environmental Sciences at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University in 2008 and graduated with the honor in 2012. And in 2015, Madina Tursunbaeva enrolled in the Environmental Science Master's Program at Iowa State University and graduated with honors in 2017. In 2020, she entered the PhD program at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, specializing in AD-05204 meteorology. She is currently a senior lecturer and researcher at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. The personal file of Madina Tursunbaeva contains the following documents: a request addressed to the rector of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, an excerpt from the meeting of the Academic Council of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University approving the dissertation topic and academic advisors, copies of diplomas of higher and postgraduate education, A copy of the transcript of the doctoral program certified by the place of study, abstracts in Kazakh, Russian, and English, reviews from domestic and foreign supervisors, protocol of the enlarged meeting at the Department of Meteorology and Hydrology of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, dated November 21, 2023, with a positive conclusion from the department, approved by the member of the Board Vice Rector for Scientific and Innovative Activities of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. A list of scientific works on the dissertation topic and their copies, and reviews from 2 official reviewers. Based on the dissertation materials, 4 works have been published, which are included in the Scopus and Web of Science databases. These include 3 articles in Q1 and Q2 journals of Web of Science, atmospheric environment, urban climate, aerosol and air quality research, as well as abstracts of 4 presentations at international scientific conferences. The materials submitted by the candidate, Madina Tursunbaeva, comply with the dissertation defense requirements of the Committee for Quality Assurance in Science and Higher Education of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan. She is allowed to defend her dissertation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayza Niyazbekna. Do members of the dissertation council have questions for the scientific secretary regarding the dissertation candidates certificate file?
No.
Anyone have a question for scientific secretary?
No.
If there are no questions, the floor is given to the applicant to present the content of the dissertation work. You are given 20 minutes. Ina Tursunbaevna.
Thank you.
Please.
Good afternoon, dear committee members and guests. My topic for my dissertation is the effect of meteorological parameters on air quality in large cities of Kazakhstan. My domestic supervisors are Dr. Aymgul Kerimrai and Dr. Associated Professor Nasiba Baymatova. My foreign supervisor is Assistant Professor Dr. Didin Permadi. Can you just clarify this while I see you on the screen? The air quality in Kazakhstan is one of the most serious concerns and responsible for more than 10,000 annual premature deaths. When we talk about the air quality, one of the most important pollutants are PM2.5, and the growing interest in PM2.5 is mostly driven by its devastating effect on human health and the environment. So, for example, PM2.5 particles found to be the 5th ranking global mortality factor worldwide. It also increases the morbidity and hospital admissions and leads to the diseases related to respiratory tract, cardiovascular system, lung cancer, and others. It also has a negative impact on the environment, contributing to climate change by changing the radiative forcing, cloud formation, and albedo. So the research aim for my dissertation work was to analyze the temporal changes of PM2.5 concentrations in major cities of Kazakhstan and investigate the impact of meteorological parameters on PM2.5. So the following tasks were set. First, investigate the temporal variations of PM2.5 concentrations in major cities of Kazakhstan and compare those to other cities of Central Asia. Second, identify the main sources of PM2.5 in the studied cities. Third, analyze the influence of meteorological parameters such as temperature, precipitation, wind speed, relative humidity, and boundary layer height on the concentrations of PM2.5. 4, evaluate air mass trajectories during high PM2.5 episodes. And 5, assess the impact of the COVID-19 lockdown on air quality improvements in Central Asian cities. So the defendable positions are PM2.5 levels in Central Asian cities exceeded the BH4 annual limit by 4.3, 12.6 times. And our dated approach is used for emission inventory in the studied cities. The COVID-19 lockdown had no significant effect on PM2.5 levels in studied cities. Slow-moving air mass trajectories are typical for high PM2.5 episodes in Almaty, while Astana may be affected by neighboring industrial cities. Daily average PM2.5 concentrations negatively correlated with the planetary boundary layer height, wind speed, and ventilation coefficient. So the dissertation work is defended on the basis of 4 published papers and consists of 3 main parts. So the first is the analysis of temporal variations in PM2.5 concentrations and their regions. Second, the changes in air quality during COVID-19 lockdown period. And third, the impact of meteorological parameters on PM2.5 concentrations. So the first part of the dissertation is defended based on the results of those 2 published papers. Cities of Central Asia are right now new hotspots of air pollution in the world. However, despite the seriousness of the problem with the air quality, there are not much of the research studies conducted about the current state of air quality in Central Asia. And this is mainly due to the limited availability to the reliable ground-based air quality measurements. So first, we wanted to assess the temporal variations of PM2.5. And for this, we used the US Embassy monitoring stations from 2018 to 2021 for 6 Central Asian cities. Those are Almaty, Ashgabat, Bishkek, Dushanbe, Astana, and Tashkent. And based on the annual concentrations, none of the considered cities met the World Health Organization limit guidelines and the WHO annual limit of 5 micrograms per meter cubed was exceeded by 413 times. So during the year, the PM2.5 concentrations, they had a clear seasonal pattern with the maximum concentrations from November to February. The maximum concentrations actually were in January for the cities in Bishkek, Almaty, Astana, Ashgabat, while in Dushanbe and Tashkent, the maximum concentrations were observed in November. The minimum concentrations were observed in summer months in Bishkek, Almaty, Astana, and in spring months in Ashgabat, Dushanbe, and Tashkent. When we looked at the daily PM2.5 concentrations, we found that about 40 to 60% in Almaty and Astana, they do not meet the World Health Organization daily limit of 15 micrograms per meter cubed. And the most of those polluted days actually were registered during winter. And in some days, in 3-5% of all the days in Almaty and Astana, the concentrations actually were alarming, more than 120 micrograms per meter cubed, which is 8-fold exceeding the World Health Organization limits. So during even the day, the PM2.5 concentrations had a clear changes. In winter, we had the major peak of PM2.5 during the evening and nighttime in both cities, Almaty and Astana. And this is actually might be related to the effect of the boundary layer height that accumulates all the air pollutants close to the Earth's surface. And also here we can see clearly that the minimum concentrations actually registered during the morning time. And this is actually related to the geographical position in Almaty and the effect of the mountain valley circulation. So why do we have those high PM 2.5 concentrations. And for this, we need to look at the sources of the PM 2.5. And based on the official inventory estimations, the transportation was found to be the main source of air pollution that is responsible for about 50 to 60% of all the air pollutants in Almaty, Dushanbe, and Astana. However, this statement is based on the outdated inventory methodology where all air pollutants emissions such as PM, SO2, NO2, CO, and others are summed up without consideration of the toxicity of each pollutant. So in our study, we looked at the example of Almaty inventory estimations to understand the problem with the estimations. And here, after summing up all the pollutants, we can see that the share of the transportation is the highest, about 60%. And this is mainly due to the high emissions of CO. However, if we look at the inventory estimations in other countries, we can see clearly that all the emissions, they are divided by pollutants and their specific sources. So if we do the same for Almaty, for example, we can have from this pie chart, this bar chart that clearly indicates the sources of each of the emissions. So here, for example, for CO emissions, yes, transportation is responsible for about 90% of all the emissions. However, if we look for the PM pollution, for PM emissions, we can see that the sources are stationary sources that include power plants and private houses. So in our study, we also wanted to confirm those results by using the SO2 by NOx and CO by NOx ratios from the EPCA emission database. And after analyzing the ratios, we came to the conclusion that the air quality of the cities was significantly impacted by the stationary sources. We also looked at the daily coal consumption in Almaty in power plants, and here we can see that during January, their daily coal consumption is 2.5 times higher than this is in July. So we also analyzed the air quality changes during the COVID-19 lockdown period. And here we can see the following picture. So here, using the CAS Hydromet dataset, we can see that there were some noticeable changes during the lockdown period, which is denoted as spring compared to the previous years in CO and NO2 concentrations. And this is understandable because of the we didn't have the roads. We didn't have the transportation on the roads. However, if we look at the TSP, total suspended particles, that include PM 2.5, in Almaty, we can see that there was an increase in the concentrations of TSP in Almaty, but the decrease in Astana, Nur-Sultan. So, however, if we look at the period prior to the COVID, we can see that there also was the decrease in the TSP concentration. So this decrease in TSP during the COVID period is not necessarily attributed to the measures during the lockdown. So the same can be said about the concentrations of PM 2.5 using the US Embassy data. So the last part of the dissertation is the effect of meteorological parameters on PM 2.5 concentrations. And in our work, we used several parameters to assess the effects. Those are temperature, air temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, and precipitation. So we did two correlation analyses using the convergent cross-mapping and Pearson correlation coefficient to see how they correlate between each other. So we found that the correlation coefficients during autumn and winter are much higher than those in spring and summer. So this actually tells us that all those meteorological parameters have much higher influence during those seasons than in spring and summer. We also found that the temperature, wind speed, and precipitation, they negatively correlate with the PM2.5 concentrations, while the relative humidity has a positive correlation. So we also analyzed the wind characteristics. Those are calm wind conditions. So we found that the concentrations of PM2.5 were among the highest during the calm wind conditions. And the frequency of those days actually were higher from October to February. And in the cities that are surrounded by mountains, such as Dushanbe, Almaty, and Bishkek, the frequency of calm wind conditions were much higher. And also we analyzed the direction of wind. And here we can see that for Almaty and Astana, increased PM2.5 concentrations can be observed in the case of the northern winds. So when the winds coming from the northern part of the city where we have our CGPs located. We also analyzed the boundary layer height effect on PM2.5 using ERA5 pre-analysis data. And actually, boundary layer height is one of the key meteorological parameters responsible for vertical mixing near the surface level. And here, boundary layer height demonstrated a clear anti-correlation to PM2.5 concentrations in all considered cities, with highest in Almaty and Bishkek. And also we can see that in Almaty and Bishkek, the BLH values were 2-3 times lower than those in Astana, Ashgabat, Dushanbe, and Tashkent. And this is actually may explain why do we have high concentrations of PM2.5 in January in Almaty and Bishkek. So we also did the backward trajectory analysis using high split model for the period of 2020-2021. We took the highest PM2.5 concentrations and analyzed the trajectories during those days. And we found, after clustering all those trajectories, that the slow-moving air masses were typical for Almaty, Bishkek, Dushanbe, and Tashkent, while there was no prevailing back trajectories for Ashgabat and Astana. So in case of Astana, this may suggest that the city actually may be impacted by the regional transportation, especially when the air masses are coming from the Pavlodar and Karaganda. Those are industrial cities. Further, we wanted to specifically analyze the boundary layer height and its effect on PM2.5 concentrations. However, this analysis was done only for Almaty because in other cities or Central Asian cities, we didn't have the sounding stations. So again, the planetary boundary layer height is one of the most critical meteorological factors limiting the vertical mixing of air pollutants close to the surface. And in this work, we used the radiosonde data, PM2.5 data obtained from the US Embassy monitoring stations, surface meteorological data. And we utilized two PBLH detection methods. Those are bulk Richardson number and potential temperature increase method. So we found that PBL height has a negative correlation with PM2.5 in Almaty. So this means that when we have higher PBL values, PBLH values, the PM2.5 concentrations, they seem to be lower, while the lower PBL height values, they corresponded to higher PM2.5 concentrations. So the correlation between the PBL height and PM2.5 at 12 UTC from October to March was actually higher than those in other months. So we also calculated the ventilation coefficient, and here ventilation coefficient was calculated by multiplying the PBL height by wind speed within the PBL, and we found that the ventilation coefficient is 7 times lower in winter than it is in summer. So what do we have during winter? In winter, we have higher emissions from the sources, and we have poor dispersion conditions in those seas. And here we also analyzed the episodes with the highest 20% of PM2.5 concentrations and the lowest PM2.5 concentrations. And we call them as top 20 and bottom 20. So here for the top 20% of PM2.5 concentrations, we can see that the PDLH values were lower than 500 meters above the ground level. We also have lower ventilation coefficients during those days and lower wind speeds within the PDL. So the conclusions are the following of my dissertation work. So the major cities in Central Asia suffer from severe PM2.5 pollution. PM2.5 concentrations in Almaty and Astana followed a seasonal pattern, peaking during the periods of intensive coal combustion. Furthermore, changes in meteorological parameters exacerbated the pollution by decreasing the dispersion rate of pollutants, especially in winter and fall. Transportation has been traditionally identified as a significant contributor to air pollution, but the COVID-19 lockdown findings suggest it is not the main factor affecting pollution levels. Cluster analysis has shown that most PM2.5 episodes happened in slow-moving air masses in Almaty, while Astana air pollutants could be transported from the neighboring industrial cities. The results show a clear negative relationship between the daily PM2.5 concentrations and PDL height at 12 UTC. So we also recommended in all our articles, we included the recommendations such as investment in modernizing and expanding existing air quality monitoring systems, continuous funding for scientific research and air quality, gradual transition to cleaner energy sources, implementation of air quality forecasting systems, and establishment of WHO air quality interim targets. So during my PhD study, there were 4 published papers. I also participated in 4 different conferences with the results of my PhD work, and also had the internship at the Institute for Atmospheric and Earth System Research at the University of Helsinki. So I would like to acknowledge the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Department of Meteorology and Hydrology, the Laboratory Ecology of the Biosphere, Institute of Technology National Vandan, University of Helsinki for funding my research and helping me during my PhD studies. I also would like to express my deepest gratitude to my scientific supervisors, Dr. Salimul Keramrai, Nasiba Baimatova, and Didim Permati for their 24/7 support during my doctoral studies. Their valuable recommendations greatly contributed to the execution of my research. I express the gratitude to Dr. Serhat Karacha, Tom Kokanen, and Giancarlo Chiavelli for their invaluable advice during my research conduction. I'm also thankful for the team of the Laboratory Ecology of Biosphere and the Department of Meteorology and Hydrology for their support and assistance during my PhD journey. And special thanks to my family for being my motivation and supporting me throughout the journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Medina Rodgalina. Dear members of the Dissertation Council, the report is complete. Question, please, dear colleagues. Dear colleagues, dear members of the Dissertation Council, please, question. Who have some questions for dissertation or result dissertation?
Can I start?
Yes, Vitaly Grigorьevich, please.
Okay, my name is Professor Salnikov. Madina, many thanks for your very interesting presentation. I have only 3 questions. The first question, the analysis of influence of meteorological conditions on atmospheric pollutions like fine aerosols was carried out for separate meteorological elements. How can you explain that the widely used integral indicators, which take into account complex meteorological conditions of atmospheric pollution, combinations of which may lead to occurrence of especially dangerous levels of atmospheric air pollution were not applied.
As I understood correctly, the methods to investigate the meteorological parameters that I used during this assessment, right?
We used separate parameters. And we have the integral parameters we not used in this integral parameters.
Integral parameters such as synoptic,
Potential atmospheric
synoptic situation.
pollution.
Yes, we didn't carry out the examination of the synoptic conditions during the high pollution episodes. But actually, that would be a very good direction for our future research.
Future research. Okay. Second question: how do you justify the choice of the high-speed model? High-speed model, which assumes that air masses move as individual particles, which may be an oversimplified representation of the real physical processes in the atmosphere that determine PM 2.5 pollution of the study area.
Thank you very much for your question. So maybe it might look oversimplified, but here we used so we took the period of 2020-2021, and we used like 10% of the highest concentrations. So every time we had those high concentrations, we analyzed the trajectories that running through this high split model. And after that, after having about 300 trajectories for each city, so it's only like for Almaty. So we had about 300 trajectories for Almaty only, but we had about 6 cities for each. And we ran the model for each of the city 300 times. And then we clustered them all together in 5 groups. The high split model itself gave us the percentage, how much time how much percent we have for each of the trajectory.
Okay, thank you. And third question: can you elaborate on how the cluster analysis selected the distance metrics between trajectories?
Distance metrics?
Distance metrics between trajectories.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. So the distance.
How the optimal number of clusters was determined?
Okay, so the optimal number of the clusters was defined after talking with the expert. And also we read the literature, and there was one study done already for Kazakhstan. They also used 5 clusters, and we decided to follow their instructions and do 5 clusters as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vitaly Grigorьевич. Dear members of the dissertation council, dear colleagues, you have some questions?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes, Madina, thank you very much. Just I want to wonder why you are selecting these heights for the back trajectories, 50, 100, and the last 1,000 meters, not higher than 1,000 meters. Why didn't you prefer? For the especially for analyzing of long range transport.
So here we used 4 heights above the ground level,
Yeah.
50, 100, 501 meters above the ground level. And we wanted to see, so why did we take 50 and 100? Because we wanted to see the air movements inside of the PBL height. So that is why we took, so here we used the PBL height, and we decided to see different altitudes of
But yes, but in order to study long-range transport, generally we are preferring altitudes higher than 1,000 meter, such as 2,000 meter. Maybe you may try, I don't know, because there are mountainous sites also, especially in Almaty.
Right, yes. Thank you for your advice. When we conducted literature review, we mostly see those heights for their cluster analysis, so we decided to try them as well, 50, 100, 500, and 1,000.
Okay.
Yes, some of them used the heights of 100, 1,500, but most of the work that we reviewed, they used 70, so they used those heights for 3-day trajectories. And so based on this literature, only, I guess, we use those heights here in our research.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Your question, Professor Serpil Inisoy. Dear colleagues, who ask question?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I'm Topini. Can I ask question?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madina. It's a great job. I have 2 questions. One, you mentioned that I think you analyzed the lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown, and find that there's some. Could you please go back to the 20? The slide 20. 20, yes. Not this one. Okay, I think I can't remember. So actually, you have lockdown. Yeah, Alamaty, right? Here, you're sitting here. So you can see why UTSP during lockdown in Almaty you can see an increase, but in other cities you have a decrease, right? But you suggest that actually less low the transportation is not the main factors affecting the pollution levels. Can you I think explain why the difference between these 2 cities? This is one question. The second is actually, as I know that in every springtime, in Kazakhstan, we always have some agriculture burning, right? So just a straw burning. So do you think it will be one of the potential contributor to the air pollution? Yeah, these 2 questions.
Thank you very much for your questions. Regarding the first question, why do we have an increase in Almaty while we have the decrease in Nur-Sultan, right? During the COVID-19 period. So during when the COVID lockdown started, yes, the transportation on the road was almost absent. However, all the people actually stayed at home, and the power plants actually kept throwing the emissions into the atmosphere. So I believe that because of the people, because the heating season hadn't stopped, and because people stayed at home, so bringing some additional emissions into the atmosphere, the concentrations in TSE increased by about 16% in comparison with the previous years. However, if we look at the Astana, Nur-Sultan, so here we can see the decrease, and I believe that mostly attributed to the meteorological conditions during this period. So we analyzed also the meteorological conditions during this period, and we found out that during lockdown period in Astana, we had slightly higher PBLH values and wind speeds in comparison with the previous years. So this actually may contribute to better dispersion conditions during this period. So, and thus we may have that decrease in TSP in Astana. Hopefully I answered your question.
Thank you.
And about the second question, the strobe burning in Kyrgyzstan, it's not that, how I can say, so here the heating is mostly provided by the coal combustion, and maybe there might be some wood combustion, but I haven't heard about the strobe combustion in Astana. Wait, sorry, in Almaty of Astana, yes. But actually, this is very good comment. I will need to look at the strobe combustion in Bishkek. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Professor Jacqueline, maybe you have some question,
I have
next.
possible. May I ask a question?
Yes, Professor Duran Karash, please.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much, Medina, for your nice and timely presentation.
Thank you.
There is only one issue I'm curious about. This is because there are arid regions or deserts in your country and surrounding countries. Almost there are 13 deserts taking place around you. But in any of your publication, I couldn't see impact of that arid regions or deserts on PM 2.5 concentrations.
So,
for example, you may consider for your future studies. Okay, it must have an impact on PM 2.5 concentration. It is different from Europe, and so that's all.
Thank you very much for your interesting question. Actually, yes, there is an effect of the desert area on the PM 2.5 concentrations, especially in the cities such as Ashgabat. They might be greatly Ashgabat, Dushanbe, and Tashkent. They might be greatly impacted by the deserts around the cities. And actually, we didn't completely specialize on the desertification and how it impacts the PM 2.5. However, we looked at some episodes that happened recently during the dust storms in the cities of Dushanbe, Ashgabat, and Tashkent, and we found out that during those dust storms we had increased PM 2.5 concentrations. So using this US Embassy Monitoring Station's data, the hourly concentrations in some cases could go up to 900 micrograms per meter cube. So yes, there is an effect of the deserts near desertification process close to the city.
Understood.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Medina.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Professor Duran Karash. Dear colleagues, dear participants, you have some question?
I have one, maybe two.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused about the dissertation title. The first confusion is your dissertation title is about large city in Kazakhstan, but from your dissertation, I see some cities not belong to the Kazakhstan. So Bishkek, Dushanbe, they are not belong to the Kazakhstan. This is the one confusion. And the second one is your title is about the air quality. When we're talking about air quality, it should include not only includes the PM 2.5, also includes ozone, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and heavy metals and air toxics. And in your dissertation, most of the work is focused on the PM 2.5. So PM 2.5 does it means it is equal to the air quality. So this is my confusions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your statements. And regarding the first one, so yes, we primarily, when I started my PhD program, we wanted to focus only the large cities of Kazakhstan, and we started doing the research regarding the cities in Kazakhstan, such as Almaty and Astana. But later we found out that we can expand this research and include the Central Asian cities as well, with the Kazakhstani cities, especially because there are not much published papers regarding this region, as I showed in this table. So especially Ashgabat, like there are zero research studies were published about this region. So we decided to include them and see how Kazakhstan would be comparable to other Central Asian cities. And we found out that the problem is actually enormous with the air quality studies in this region. And we suggested that we need to expand the research in this area. So I included the large cities, those are Almaty and Astana, but I also included the Central Asian cities as well to expand the research and compare those to Kazakhstani cities. Regarding the second one, the air quality. So thank you very much that yes, indeed, the air quality is not only the PM 2.5, but as I specified before, one of the most studied right now air pollutants is PM 2.5, and regarding the Kazakhstani cities, there are again not much published papers regarding the PM 2.5. So especially because the data regarding PM 2.5 are kind of new for this region. So for example, the PM 2.5 monitoring started in 2017 by some public organizations. So we wanted to specify more in PM 2.5 in my dissertation. I also participated in two big projects here where we worked the PM 2.5 chemical analysis. So that was the reason why we wanted to focus on this air pollutant. But during the lockdown period, we also looked at some other pollutants such as CO, NO2, and total suspended particles. Hopefully I answered the question.
Thank you very much. Your question, Professor Samad. You have some any questions? Maybe next question.
May I ask?
No, thanks.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, maybe we'll have next question.
Yes, may I ask the question?
Yes, please.
Okay, Martina, in your paper published in Aerosol and Air Quality Research, you are saying you are giving calculation of two methods for determination of the boundary layer height. Richardson number method and potential temperature increase method. Since I am not familiar with these methods, maybe it is better to produce some example of calculation in your supplementary document. And you have decided here that PT is better than other method, okay? Am I right? Richardson number.
It's not the better probably, but it had the higher correlation coefficients with the PM2.5. And it's the calculation of the using this method. It's easy, straightforward. You just need the data on the potential temperature. So yeah, that's why we in the first research we use this method to analyze.
Okay. In your another paper published in atmospheric environment, here you are preferring Richardson number method. Why like that? Why you are preferring here Richardson number method?
In which? In the same paper or
In
simulation?
the atmospheric environment paper.
So actually here in this paper, the boundary layer heights, they were not calculated. They were retrieved from the reanalysis data, and the reanalysis data, the model 2 actually is, it runs by itself using the Richardson.
Okay, you didn't do. Okay.
So we just retrieved that. However, because we didn't have the sounding stations in 5 out of 6 cities, it was not impossible to use sounding data and calculate and see how those two methods result in the PBL height. So we just took the reanalysis data and applied the correlation analysis.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question, Professor Serpil Nisoi. Maybe we have enough question for our doctorate. Professor Dr. Maria Burmandi, you have some question?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah.
Please.
Thank you, Madina, for your presentation. I have two small questions for you. The first one is about your simulation with high speed. Okay, could you please let me know that what was the duration of your simulations? I mean, for each runs that you did to gather these cluster analysis, like 72 hours, 48 hours. What was the duration of your simulations?
So here to do the high-speed run, we took the highest concentration when we had in the city, and we did the back trajectory for 70.
For how many hours? Okay.
3 days before. 3 days before we had the high episode in the cities. So that was 72 hours.
So how did you consider the Terrian effect in your simulation? Terrian effect, I mean about the topography of your domain of study, you know? Because when you are doing your simulation with different altitudes, I mean different heights, you have to make sure that, for example, when your particles are moving at the altitude of like 1,000 meters above the ground, they are not meeting any mountainous area, they are not getting trapped in, I don't know, in any valleys. Do you have any, I don't know, cross-checking to see how the terrain of your study, domain of study is affecting your simulation or not? You have not done it?
No, it wasn't done. Yes, that's a limitation.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, it's okay, but maybe you can consider, because as far as I can guess, it can impact and it can even help you to to choose the best altitude for your simulation. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We mostly consider it the research that have been done already, and we would just want following the instructions.
Yeah, thank you. And my last question is about planetary boundary layer height. You have on 27th slide. Yes, you have used two methods, but as long as I remember, you have access to Era 5 data. So, yeah. 27. Yes, here. Yeah. You have 27. The previous one. Yes, this one. Yeah. So could you please, explain a bit that why did you use these two methods instead of only simply extracting PBLH data from Era 5? Because as long as I remember, you have access to this database as well. So why you are using some analytical methods to to produce PBLH data instead of only extracting them?
From the analysis data, you mean, right? Extracting from the
Yes. So the one that you already used in some of your other publications, as far as I remember, because I saw it that you had access and you used it before. So why not here?
We could have the vertical profiles from the ERA 5 reanalysis data. Yes, that's true. But when we started conducting the research, we started actually first we started with this paper.
Okay.
With planetary boundary layer height. In relationship with the PM2.5 concentrations in Almaty, Kazakhstan. And after we did not the same procedure, but we used the reanalysis data to retrieve the PBL height values from the reanalysis data. And then we also wanted to compare those two methods and see if they produce the same results. And actually, they were pretty same, meaning from the reanalysis data and from the sounding stations data.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
you very much for your questions.
Thank you very much for your questions, Dr. Faria Burmandi. Dear colleagues, dear members of the dissertation council, are there any more questions? If this is enough, let's move on to next step. Are you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The floor? The floor is given to the domestic scientific consultant, PhD Ayhanım Kerim. Ayhanım. I'm sorry, Ayhanım Kerim Ray.
Sorry?
Dear Dr. Ayhanım Kerim Ray.
Yes, yes, I'm here.
I will have some review for this dissertation work.
Thanks a lot for this opportunity to speak. And thanks a lot, Madina, for a great presentation. I highly recommend this dissertation for approval. And as Madina described, we have started our research with the investigation of the PBLH, and then we followed with the following research papers by including additional cities and by looking at COVID lockdown impact, etc. And thank you for your very valuable insights and questions, dear reviewers and members of this committee.
Thank you, Dr. I am Rai. And the following should be given to the second domestic scientific council, Dr. Associate Professor of the Department of Analytical Colloid Chemistry and Technology of Rare Element Alphabet of National University Nasiba Baymatova.
Yeah. So yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for good discussion of Madina's work. Yes, I'm second supervisor and chemist, and some of other parts of conducted research by Madina during her PhD study. It was omitted because of their time limits. Actually, her research it's put a lot of impact to see the clean picture, more details what is happening not only in Kazakhstan cities but in Central Asian countries. And the issue is that there of the poor air quality, it's a lot. So we have it's a coal combustion, biomass combustion, as well as transportation exhaust gases and etc. So all of them is giving the different kind of air pollutants, but their limitation that the data is limited. We have only one official organization who is responsible for monitoring of air quality around the Kazakhstan. It's Kazgidromet, and we use these data, as you noticed, for some time. One paper where we considered how the changes during the lockdown, because it was a good opportunity to see who was the main sources of the air pollution in Almaty and Astana, which are capital of Kazakhstan. And why we focus on the Central Asian cities regarding the air pollution, because the only available data for all Central Asian cities which we studied, it was PM 2.5. But PM 2.5, they considered one of the most dangerous pollutants. And another part, it's to see how the meteorological parameters affecting to these compounds in the air. So meteorological effects, it's least investigated before. As I know from my background, being the specialist in air quality studies in Kazakhstan, and meteorological parameters is very important because Pakistan is nice by territory in the world, and it's had a different geographical position. That's why Astana and Almaty, they have a different part of the picture of PM 2.5 only. And we will be glad to investigate in the different altitudes, but unfortunately we have only the ground data, not on the different altitudes. So it is what it is, which data we had, we just tried to put their new knowledge in this part. Okay, I can talk a lot about their thesis part of Madina. She conducted and put a lot of efforts in part of the investigating the effect of meteorological parameters, because Almaty is around these mountains and Astana it's it's a steep. That's why during lockdown it's have a lowest concentration, and Astana is usually characterized with winds. Here in Almaty we don't have any kind of winds during a year, so that's why it was very important to see the meteorological parameters to investigate how to air pollution. So regarding Madina as well, the PhD candidate, she's a good researcher, and she can handle the work by herself by little navigation of me and my colleague, Dr. Kerim Rai. And during short PhD, we found the new parts which are us leading to new directions to investigate. So investigating the altitude,
having the idea to install new stations who will provide us with accurate data and to continue the work which started at Helsinki University because of their mountains. The pollutants can accumulate and they can be distributed and wherever. And I hope in future our work she will show that. But for now, I think she did a lot, and this is a like first investigation which giving the in details how meteorological parameters which are available. So even for meteorological parameters, we see that some kind of the data is available only in Almaty and Astana. We are happy to investigate all countries in Kazakhstan, all cities in Kazakhstan with different infrastructure and geographical position. But anyways, again, about Madina, she's a self-working researcher and with a lot of knowledge and experience. And I think and I'm very sure that she is very should be awarded for PhD. She deserved it. She worked very hard on the papers. And I wanted to notice that she's getting by defense by a series of articles without writing the dissertation, and it's one of the highest requirements for PhD students here in Kazakhstan. So to publish 4 papers as a first author, it's quite complicated because we are linked with data. So if you have questions which Madina couldn't cover, or for me as a second supervisor, as first supervisor, so we are not dividing between us who was leading where, we was like matching with Dr. Ayngul to bring Madina here today, that you can hear what we found. And of course, the work will not stop, it will continue because we come to the new ideas and new findings which giving us direction where we should move forward. So thank you. I think I will talk more than Madina. So thank you for your review, Dr. Nasibe Baymata, for your clarification and additional information on dissertation and some answer for some questions in our dissertation members. Thank you. The floor is given to the foreign scientific consult, Doctor Associate Professor at National Institute of Technology, Didin Agustin Pomadi, but he has some technical problems. The review will be voiced by the scientific secretary of our dissertation council.
Thank you. Recommendation letter for Madina Tursunbaeva, State PhD defense. I am writing this letter to provide my strong endorsement of Madina Tursunbaeva's request to defend her PhD dissertation at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Almaty, Kazakhstan. I have had the privilege of serving as Madina's foreign co-supervisor during her PhD program since 2020. The PhD dissertation of Madina Tursunbaeva is dedicated to the investigation of meteorological parameters that affect air quality, specifically PM 2.5 concentrations. In her research, she conducted a comprehensive analysis of PM 2.5 pollution in various Central Asian cities, including Almaty, Astana, Ashgabat, Bishkek, Dushanbe, and Tashkent. Her investigation encompassed an examination of pollution sources and the influence of meteorological factors such as temperature, humidity, wind direction, wind speed, and precipitation on PM 2.5 levels. Additionally, she utilized 1-year radiosonde data to assess the impact of the planetary boundary, lower high PB as well as the ventilation coefficient on PM2.5 concentrations. The results showed a clear negative relationship between the daily average PM2.5 concentration and PBLH high PM2.5 concentrations in winter months, corresponding to a lower PBLH 393 meters and low PM2.5 concentrations in summer months corresponded to a higher PBLH 1970 meters. The results of cluster analysis using the back trajectories for the highest hourly PM2.5 concentrations during the period of 2020 and 2021 at 50 meters AGL, slow-moving air masses were typical in Almaty, while in Astana no prevailing back trajectories were found. Therefore, her research studies helped to get useful insights on understanding complex relationships between air quality and meteorology, can provide theoretic support for PM2.5 predictions. Her work resulted in research papers in the higher-ranking journals Q1 and Q2. Furthermore, she presented the results of her research studies at national and international conferences, such as International Scientific Conference for Students and Young Scientists Farabi Alemi, Asian Aerosol Conference 2022, Second Central Asian Air Quality Conference in Kazakhstan 2023. While visiting the Institute of Atmospheric and Earth System Research, the University of Helsinki, Finland, Madina got acquainted with the WRF CHIMER modeling system. During this internship, Madina Tursumbaeva demonstrated the ability to work independently with great enthusiasm and initiative. Her ability to learn new programming skills and simulation methods in a short time was very useful in conducting her research. The Institute Technology National Banding would be happy to continue collaborating with Madina Tursumbaeva in applying modeling systems in simulating the PM2.5 concentrations and on the impact of urban pollution on the city correspondings, such as mountains. I wish Madina all the best in her professional career. Overall, I am pleased with the accomplishments Madina Tursumbaeva has achieved throughout her PhD program, and I believe that her substantial research work qualifies her to earn her PhD degree in meteorology. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvania Bekman. The next word goes to the first review, Dr. PhD in Chemical Engineering Research Fellow from Nazarbayev University, Brumandi Faria. Doctor,
yes, please.
yeah, Brumandi Faria, please, your review.
Okay. Again, I would like to thank you, Aingun, Nasiba, and also Madina for this great job. And I believe that according her publications report, she deserves this PhD to be awarded. This is my idea, and I strongly believe that she deserves it, and I wish luck for her future career and research.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Teria Rumandi. According to the reviewers, there are no comments on the dissertation work. The next work is given to the second reviewer, candidate of geographical science, Anargul Baykalovna Shkalelova.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So thank you very much for the opportunity to review the thesis. And frankly speaking, I was really very enjoyed reading all these articles, because I see, like, how the candidate was working on the data and how she was focusing on the issue. And I agree with the one who was commenting that the article of the title of the dissertation says about the Kazakhstan, but adding other cities like Dushanbe, Ashgabat, or and Tashkent was giving even more, like, sense of the criticality of the issue. And the correlation between, like, weather conditions and with the natural disasters like dust, etc., was given quite good. And it showed us again that the problem is really very critical. And it's really the maybe future focus for the dissertation, for the next step of the dissertation. And I also agree with the comment has been provided before on the, like, pollutants. Like in the dissertation, there was studies about the PM 2.5 and PM 10. But if these along with this information, other pollutants or other parameters will be used, like, addition to PM 2.5 and PM 10, like NO2 or SO or CO, that will give even great opportunity for the next studies. And all of these, like, works will help to build a good modeling of the pollutants, and it will give also a really very good opportunity to assess the impact to the health of the community or to the health of the people. So I would like to let the dissertation council to know that this is really very good job, very well structured, and deserves to give the doctorate. I would like to support that the candidate is applicable for the awarding degree of the doctor in the philosophy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna Baikalovna. According to the review, there are no comments on the dissertation work. Maybe you have some recommendation for future, maybe for dissertation, for research.
So that's not it's not like, recommendation for the improving this dissertation. I think the recommendation would be to leverage the results of the dissertation into the practical part. I mean, like, it would be great to use this information and see how it could help to improve the forecast of the level of the pollutant in the cities, and maybe that will even help to, like, again, to make a model or to make predictions of the level of the pollution of in the cities. So I mean, like, the recommendation, there is no any recommendations as an improvement of the dissertation. The recommendation is to use that information and make it more practicable.
Thank you very much your view. The applicant's dissertation was posted on the university's internet resources on April 30 and 2024 for feedback and reviews were given on the dissertation. Now let's move on to the general question. Who would like to give an opinion? Dear colleagues, dear dissertation members, maybe who have some view, some issue, questions, maybe some comment for research, for doctorate dissertation results. Please click. Not have? Dear Professor, dear Dr. Alexander Makhura, maybe you have some review, some points from about research, dissertation research, maybe about results, research results.
I'm right now participating in a conference where is a music background in the corridor, so it's not quiet, sorry for that issue, but I would like also to acknowledge that it was a great work done by Madina Tursunbaeva. From my side as a moderator, I can also try to recommend that maybe in the future she can try to use the instead of high split the flex part model, which is a European community development. It has more capabilities and capacities, as well as if we are looking on the evaluation of impact on the society, population, environment, it might be good to use like online integrated approach, seamless modeling, in particular such system like WorfChem or maybe EnviroHirlam. That can give more insight on the current situation on air quality in Kazakhstan as well as surrounding countries. And from my side, I would like to say that Madina performed excellent research. That's from my subjective point of view, of course. I read her publications as well. I met her in person during her visits to University of Helsinki on trainings. And I think that Madina, she deserved the PhD degree earned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alexander Makhura, your opinion, your view. Thank you very much. Maybe Professor Alim Samad has some opinion.
I heard some. Dana did nice work. I had maybe some comments for the future works. In his dissertation, she explains the phenomena is already there, but she does not explain why. For example, for the Almaty, Bishkek, the city is surrounded by good vegetation, high mountain area. Why the PM concentration already concentrated there, not like other cities, as this is one of the future work in the, except for the meteorological parameters. She also, if she also considers like land cover types, like storms, like atmospheric circularism, would be interesting in the future. Thanks, that's all. I think she deserves a PhD diploma.
Thank you, Professor Samat, your view and your opinion. Thank you very much. Maybe Professor Enisoy has some opinion because we you have a lot of questions for dissertation for results in research. And your microphone off. Your microphone off.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I would like to emphasize that the papers are very comprehensive, and Madina, all other co-workers are serving all the details of data that have used, and I really appreciate this. And you are preparing your paper so flashy way that data are becoming more impressive using tables, visual presentations are all very nice. And maybe for future work, I can recommend you to do some elemental analysis in the PM 2.5 particulate matter, and then use PMF to apportion sources maybe better. And these are my suggestions for the future work. And also, I agree that she has deserved PhD degree. And I see from again the papers that she has worked very hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your opinion. Thank you very much, all members of the State Council. If there are no more speakers, then let's move on to the secret voting. The voting is carried out online by all members of the dissertation committee and official reviewers. The scientific secretary will send everyone a link for online voting via Gmail. Please do not announce your own voting decision out loud. A brief is announced for secret online voting. We ask temporary members and reviewers to remain in the Zoom conference and vote at the same time. Please do not leave the conference. According to the regulation on the dissertation council of Al-Farid National University, there are three options for the discussion of the dissertation council. First option, award the degree of Doctors of Philosophy, PhD. Second, submit the dissertation for red defense. Third, refuse to earn the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD. We need to choose one of the options provided. The decision of the council to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD is considered accepted if 3/4 or more of the participants in the voting have voted for it. The decision of the council to refuse to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Science in the field is considered adapt to move two-fourths or more of the people participating in the voting vote for it. Please, everyone, choose your decision and one option.
Два это для рецензента. Повторная защита. Нет, повторная защита. Не присуждаем повторная защита, либо вообще не присуждаем. Доклад. Подтверждаем на повторную защиту, либо не подтверждаем. Нету. Четыре возврата нет, все это только три остается. 11. 11. Может быть.
Ахметкалар Николаевич, вы уже проголосовали?
Пусть проголосуют. Сейчас проголосуем, сейчас. Одну секунду.
Ахмед.
Сейчас.
Thank you for your...
Кумбаров.
Уже это... Все, сейчас я шашам. Уже старая защита, как тяжело будет. Нет, как будто там еще много всяких вопросов уже проходит. А наука в Ютубе. ¿Cómo? Dear colleagues, dear colleagues, are you choose your decision? All
Yes.
members. Maybe some persons have some problems. Yes. Who? Профессор Дюран как решил его проблему? Ну, ты знаешь, я не сложу. Может, ты знаешь. Проблема поступать. Словно дюраном позже, профессор Карнас Николай. И получается так. Может быть, подтвердить? Я отправила на почту, как вы сегодня. Да. Как отправила? Да, как и сегодня. Да, надо. Он не понял, он просто написал в чат без... Я давайте на другой отправлю на WhatsApp. Нет, у нас это... Он это понял уже. Отметил. Я на вечера, не все. Не, мы начали. Да, нажимаем. Ага. Ага, хорошо. Хорошо, ждем. Может быть, на WhatsApp? I apologize, dear colleagues, we have some technical problems.
Может, вам на WhatsApp отправить? По-моему, точно. Алло. Алло. Может, вам на WhatsApp отправлю тогда? На WhatsApp вам отправлю сейчас? Ага, хорошо. Я как здесь вот картошки. День. Как мы Okay. Dear members of the dissertation council, all votes have been received. The floor is given to the scientific secretary to announce the result of the secretary online voting. Thank you. 12 members of dissertation council and reviewers participated in the online voting. So according to the results of online voting, the decision to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy was voted for by 12%. So it's 100% for this decision.
Thank you, Alexandra Bekman. Based on the complete defense and the results of secret online voting, the dissertation council for the group of specialist education programs 6D or 060900, AD 05202 Geography, 6D 060800, AD 05207 Ecology, 6D 061000, 8D 05203 Hydrology, 6D 071100, 8D 07301 Geodesy, 6D 090200, AD 11101 Tourism, AD 05204 Meteorology, AD 0150 Geography, 6D 07302 Geoinformatics, at Al-Farabi National University, Edward Madina Tursunbaeva, the degree of Doctor of philosophy, PhD in the specialty AD 05204 meteorology. Congratulations. The applicant is given the final word.
Thank you very much. I have no words to express my feelings right now. However, I would like to thank all of you, dear committee members of the dissertation, for your contribution of time and energy to sit here and listen to me and to evaluate my work. I am honored to have such professionals, specialists in this field. I'm thankful to all of you today for the interesting questions, and some of the questions made me to think to extending my current work. Thank you. And also, I'm very thankful to you, to all of you today, the dissertation council members, reviewers, my supervisors, my colleagues and family, for making this day happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it is necessary to accept a conclusion on the dissertation work of Madina Tursumbaeva. We begin to discuss the conclusion of the dissertation council. What comments and additions will you have one? Dear colleagues, dear members, maybe we take the draft conclusion of the dissertation as a basis and make stylistic amendments. Dear colleagues, dear dissertation members, we agree with draft conclusion. Thank you very much for your opinion. This draft conclusion of the dissertation as a basis, and we let's look at the classification features of the dissertation. Classification features of the dissertation, we must choose one of the items which is suitable for this scientific research work.
1.2.
First, characteristic of dissertation result. First, new scientifically based result that solves an important scientific problem. Two, contain new scientifically based result, the use of which provides a solution to an important applied problem. Three, new scientifically substantiated theoretical and or experimental results, the totality of which is important for the development of specific scientific areas, which choose point
1.2.
1.2. Are you agree? Dear colleagues, dear members, this is this Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Second, level of novelty of the dissertation result. First, the result is new. Second, some results are not new. Third, significant fact of the result of is not new. Which point we choose? 1, 2, 3. 2 everyone?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
agree.
you. 2.1. Thank you. Value of the dissertation result. Third was first high, second satisfactory, three unsatisfactory. Maybe first or second.
The first high.
Maybe 3.1.
Yes.
We agree?
One.
Thank you. Fourth, connection of the dissertation topic with climate research. One, first, the topic is include instead and regional scientific technical program or international research program. Second, the topic is included in the fundamental research program, industry program, plans of scientific organization and higher education institutes. Third, proactive work. Maybe 4.1. Thanks.
One again.
Thank you very much. 5. Level of implementation, use of the dissertation result with applied significance. First, at the international level. Second, at the intersector level. Third, on an industry scale. First, within the organization. First, second.
$5.1.
All members agree?
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. 6. Recommendation for the explained use of the result of a dissertation of practical importance. 6.1 regulate accident use. Second, does not regulate accident use. 6.1.
Six one.
6.1.
Agree.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. There is a proposal to take to conclusion of the dissertation council is awaiting. Please vote for acceptance. Who for against? Please wake up your and thank you very
Agreed.
much. Thank you. The conclusion of the dissertation concludes that is accepted. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, all members of the dissertation council. Thank you your attention. Thank you your opinion and your professional view for our research work. Our doctorate student, Madina. Thank you very much. Your action on our dissertation council. I hope we have a lot of dissertation meeting in future, and I hope we have some fruitful collaboration in future. Thank you for attention. Yeah. Thank you from Al-Farabi Kazakh National University admin. Thank you your work today. Bye bye. See you later.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye.